Well, Kurt's had a chance to put this thing through its paces and find out what it's made of, so why don't you give us your take on how it flew?
It was a small CP helicopter, so I think my expectations, having flown a lot of other smaller CP helicopters, was pretty low. The smaller the heli, usually the more unstable until you go into that super stable coax and single rotor micro size. I had low expectations, but then I flew the FP before I flew the CP. So I flew the Novus 125 FP first. So I was familiar with the tag system. I had an idea of what it would offer for electronic stabilization. And when I spooled it up, first thing that caught my attention was it has a nice high head speed, real high speed head on it, which is great. That gives you more control, more handling, and more nimble characteristics from a 3D standpoint. So I was impressed with the head speed right away. As it fired up and I brought it off the ground, it started kind of walking around a little bit more than, probably a little more than the tag system on the FP had me really, I guess, kind of lazy. I was expecting it to kick in a lot more. But at the same time, if you want, it's compromised. Do you want good 3D performance, or do you want solid rotational hovering characteristics? So you kind of pick and choose which you lean the model towards. Overall, I think it'll come out in the review, the individual characteristics, but it was a good impression. The whole Novus 125 line, I think they've built a really solid helicopter. Let's go ahead and jump into the review and take a look at each of the different attributes.
Okay, on the first 5 points of model characteristic, we have build as advertised. We gave it a 5 out of 5, being that it's a ready-to-fly helicopter right out of the box. You had mentioned there's no
Zero adjustments. I did make some trim adjustments on the radio, which is expected, but no tags adjustments or anything else. So 5 out of 5.
Finish, we gave it a 5 out of 5. It's a nice looking helicopter. It's very well designed, professional looking out of the box. The canopy, the simulated, much like the FP, same quality of
and you look
build.
at the servos, those are actually micro or pico size or nano size digital rotary servos. So you've got some really great hardware on board. And of course all the carbon fiber with a really nice finished tail rotor and main rotor blades and a beautifully painted canopy. It's a nice looking aircraft. All
right, power, we gave it a 4 out of 5. Now I want to mention one thing. I know you like a real responsive tail when you're flying, and I noticed a few times you mentioned that you weren't quite getting the responsiveness out of the tail.
The low rates, the way it's set up with the 4-channel radio, the low rates for me have too little tail response. It's just I like a little quicker tail response, so I was more comfortable flying it on high rates. So if you're a CP pilot at all, and you're used to flying the 450 size or something like that, and you're used to that tail responding very quickly to you, the low rate, and I'm not sure if it's digital built-in expos or if it's just the total travel rate. Very slow, very passive on the tail and low rate, so it kind of caught me off guard. I wanted it to spin around and come back at me, and it wasn't there, so I had to flip the high rates very quickly. But the switch is right, easily located.
High rates gave you what you wanted, though.
It did. It definitely did. From a power standpoint, really you look at power as the response from the servos, and then you look at the actual main rotor and the tail rotor speed. That's power, I guess, true engine power. The motor on the CP is ample for basic 3D aerobatics and solid forward flight. You can crank that throttle curve up a little bit and get nice response as you go into extreme positive or negative pitch on the collective. But it has plenty of power from the brushless motor. I will say that it could have a little more, but I really think you're going to reach the limitations of the physical size of the aircraft. You put that much more powerful motor in it, it's going to be working. It's going to be all over the place. The tail's not going to have the strength it needs. So it's a good balance. About 4 out of 5 on the power.
All right. Ground handling, we've got it at 3.5 out of 5.
It's a small CP. It's going to walk around on you. I guess don't go into this model thinking, hey, I've got a trainer here that's going to handle this like my fixed pitch Novus 125 or my other smaller size fixed pitch. This is a collective pitch helicopter, and it's very small, very lightweight, so it's easily affected by a little bit of breeze when you're doing that ground maneuvers, low ground hovering. So it's going to walk and dance around on you, but if you've got your orientation down and you've got your cyclic down and you're not sitting and thinking about what you're doing, it's going to be very natural to keep it corrected, and the tag system does kick in. Get it out of the ground effect of the prop wash or the rotor wash, and it's going to stabilize right out for you. So.
Okay. All right, durability, we gave it a 4 out of 5. Now, we unfortunately did a little bit of weed whacking with the tail rotor on this.
A couple times.
A couple times. Nothing major. I mean, we didn't have any strikes of any kind, but the tail held up nice. It really did.
It did. Yeah, it's just like the FP. Same. I think it's the same exact design in the tail. Very durable. Very impressive overall design. And carbon fiber is nice and rigid. And we actually, I think when we was transporting it, we kind of put some pressure on the fly bar and it didn't bend or anything.
Yes, we did. You're right. I forgot about that.
It's comfortably durable model.
Yeah. All right. Flight is advertised 4.5 out of 5.
4 or 5 out of 5. Again, not knowing what I was going into, I expected I rated it a 2. Every small CP helicopter I've ever flown has been a rather unpleasant experience.
Sure.
And the tag system takes enough of the edge off of the inherent instability to make it a comfortable helicopter to fly in smaller spaces.
Yeah.
Now, once you get moving forward flight, that tag really kicks in and it flies like a larger helicopter.
Sure. So. Okay, flight times 4.5 out of 5.
The 600 includes 600 milliamp battery with the head speed cranking up like it was. I know the 125 FP pulls about 3 amps draw at peak when you first fire it up. We didn't actually test this one on the bench, but it's naturally going to draw more because it's higher RPM head speed. We get about 5 minutes out of it, really, especially in idle up or normal or flight mode 1, where it's spooled up to full RPM.
Well, we were able to do what we wanted on video with plenty of time in a review. And
again, a CP helicopter, especially for beginners or intermediates, 5 minutes is a lifetime. So, you know, it's fine. But you have to pick up a couple spare batteries so you can keep the thing going.
Let me get the sticks. I'll show you how 30 seconds can be all day long. All right, field size, small part. We flew it in a small part, plenty of room.
Small part.
I noticed that this thing will get up and boogie. Just like the
FP, it'll get up there probably close to 30 miles an hour, no problem. And
so
with it being so small, it can disappear on you real quick. So.
Okay. Portability, as far as getting it in and out of the packaging, getting it in your vehicle, out at the field.
Yeah.
You know,
you're not going to
run
transport
risk
it in the box.
Damaging it.
I don't think you transport it in the box.
No.
By the time you go through and put it in that plastic wrap and get it all snapped in there and put it in the box, unless you're traveling.
Exactly.
If you're going down to the park, though, you're going to toss it in your front seat. At which point it is fragile enough to break. You've got some tiny little carbon fiber boom supports. Some other areas that can get bent or broken on the model. So,
well, any helicopter is going to be fragile.
Absolutely, absolutely. But if the packaging were that kind of drop-in loose cell foam, it would be easier. But so 4 out of 5, I think, is fair in the portability.
Okay, skill level, we've got it at intermediate to advanced.
Yeah, any CP helicopter, collective pitch helicopters require you to have your orientation skills down and your forward flight down. You're not going to sit there and do nice little easy, lazy hovers and get used to the sticks and have time to recover like you would on a fixed pitch or a coaxial helicopter. So it's going to be intermediate to advanced. I don't want to scare off intermediate flyers. Just give yourself room. If you're in that park, go out to the park, have plenty of no obstructions, no trees or cars or anything else around, and practice that forward flight. And it'll handle nice, slow forward flight, very comfortable, very predictably, and the tag system is going to help you out a lot for the intermediate flyers. But for those that are at that intermediate, highly intermediate to intro advanced, beginner advanced, you're really going to enjoy the helicopter. Its performance is going to be there. On a final note for 3D, everybody wonders, the CP, can you do 3D, can you do 3D? Yes, you can do 3D. The tag system can be turned off, or you can dial down the gain on the tag system. You're going to want to do that. Tags kicks in and tries to resist drift on all 3 axes. So it's working to reduce that drift, which means it's going to compromise some of the response in the cyclic movements. So you're going to want to turn that tag system down. It does have the power to do inverted flight. We did do rolls with it. We did loops with it. We did a lot of, the tail authority gives you plenty of pirouette control. You can do all basic 3D aerobatics, but it's not going to perform like a 450 or a 500 or a 600 or a 700 helicopter. It's a small, tiny helicopter. So performance for the size, for the price, and also being able to do 3D, I think it's a great value in a 3D arena.
Well, I know you were excited about the FP. It seemed like the CP.
I think it's a great family of products. The 125s are a good series of helicopters, whether you go fixed pitch or collective pitch. And it's a great transition from the FP to the CP.
Great.
Well, if you have any questions that remain unanswered, you can go out to our website and look into the review or www.2bfly.com. If you have additional questions, you can also click on the icon located in the lower left corner of the screen that says Ask 2 and send us a message. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'm Kurt Gornick with Two Brothers Hobby.
And I'm Rob Gornick. Thanks for watching.